will be done, and how will you work with young journalists? How will you ensure that on the one hand, human rights organizations can follow what is taking place in the pre-trial investigative phase of cases, and that on the other hand, journalists pressure as much as possible for the continuation of trials and for reparation for all victims, which is simply not there today. And in this strategy that we heard from ODIHR and UNICRI, there is no mention of that. So my question is, how will you ensure that there is this critical public voice heard? This is a question for Mr. Robinson and for Mr. Mirel, and for ODIHR and UNICRI representatives. I think that a complementary mechanism is useful, but national resources need to be taken into account as well in order to ensure some reparation for the victims. This is still a very distant dream for those people who were victims, for those whose close ones went missing. There is no mention of reparation in any of those cases.
That's a good question about the media strategy, about which we haven't heard. Now, there are 3 questions over there. Can we take them?
Marko Prelec, International Crisis Group, Director of the Balkans Project. My question is principally for the President and the prosecutor. As someone who's worked at the ICTY for several years and also in the region prosecuting war crimes, my sense is that one of the biggest missed opportunities of the tribunal has been the decision not to retain professional staff from the former Yugoslavia in positions of responsibility over the years. And I have the impression this might have begun to change a bit recently. When we speak of capacity building, my experience has been that the most effective way to do this, the only really effective way to do this, is through a process of long-term mentoring and apprenticeship working side by side. So my question would be, is there any reason why we couldn't have 10, 15, 20 young lawyers from the countries of the former Yugoslavia working as trial lawyers alongside more experienced colleagues during their remaining years of trial and appeal work here? Why we couldn't have 10, 15, 20 young lawyers from the former Yugoslavia working as legal officers in the chambers whose experience of Yugoslav law and culture would, I'm sure, be of interest and use to their colleagues and indeed to the judges. I anticipate one response to this might be concerns about security, and I would suggest that there would be ways of working around that. For example, having people whose roots are in Serbia working on, for example, the Gotovina appeal or some other such area, or somebody from Bosnia working on a Croatian case. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Next question.
Thank you very much. Charles Adiogun Phillips, Senior Trial Attorney from the ICTR. 3 questions, one to President Robinson and perhaps Mr. Bremitz as well. The declassification of protected material is an essential complement of archiving. Can you tell us what steps do you propose to take to lift the protection on several protected materials, in particular witness statements? There has been talk about seeking consent from witnesses. That is indeed a Herculean task, and we at the ICTR wouldn't even envisage proceeding on that basis. And it might be interesting for us to be informed as to how you propose in the ICTY to deal with this matter. The second part of my question goes to the registrar of the ICTY, and in that regard it has to do with archiving and the distinction between the ad hoc tribunals like the ICTR and the ICTY and the shift towards the hybrid tribunals such as Sierra Leone and Cambodia. the essence being the ownership of the material and the archiving, and the state laying a 50-50 claim, unlike the ad hoc tribunals, which are mostly UN. With the hybrid, there is a partnership in some sense. Does this pose a problem in relation to Sierra Leone? Maybe the moderator, having that experience at Sierra Leone, may be able to shed some light. After all, they have a stake, and it's part of their history. The third part of my question is a more practical one, which we face in Arusha, considering the fact that we share premises with other persons. In terms of the storage of the archives, do you have a similar problem that we face, where there's been talk about purpose-built storage for your archives for various reasons, the volume of paper and the weight of paper and interference from third parties? Thank you.
Thank you. And there was a final question. So 3 hands up.
Moje poštovanje, ja sam Nedeljko.
My name is Nedeljko Mitrović. I'm president, or rather, I represent the families of those who were killed and who went missing from Republika Srpska. We also represent the families of those who were killed and went missing and who were deported and became refugees in Croatia. And all in all, we represent about 30,000 persons of our fellow sufferers. I wish to take advantage of this opportunity to give my opinion and to also put a question. It has been concluded, Mr. Robertson, that at the very beginning you have shown some bias which to us victims who are of Serb ethnicity creates a certain anxiety and kills our optimism, if I may say so. Why do I say this? In your introduction, you mentioned mostly the events where potential perpetrators were of Serbian ethnicity. Not a single case was mentioned where the Serbs were victims, and there are many such cases from Sjekovac, from the column in Tuzla, from Bratunac to Srebrenica, and so on. And this is why I'm putting this question to you. Can all victims of the war expect to be treated identically? Can they expect the same approach of the international community and the international tribunal? Because lack of fairness causes radicalization of relationships at the local level. And it is pointless to discuss reconciliation unless we have such unbiased approach. There were various other presentations which also caused us to feel unequal. We support fairness of all trial, we support a proper change, but we are quite reasonable in expecting people to be unbiased, because only then can we achieve reconciliation and a safe future and peace in the region. Now I have a specific question, which may be of a hypothetical nature. Is failure to sign the Lisbon Agreement a crime, or introduction into all the crimes that were committed in Bosnia and Herzegovina? And finally, another complex question. Mr. Hawking, I think that you were in Banja Luka when the webpage of the ICTY was promoted. We had certain objections and we sent them to you in writing, and we have never ever received a reply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, those questions, let's begin with perhaps Pierre Morel. The first question was, what are we doing, what's the ICTY doing and other organizations doing about training local journalists and making them aware of the need to expose the war criminals in their midst and continue the ICTY's work by putting pressure on local prosecutors and courts to continue its work? Is there any, we haven't mentioned the training of journalists.
Well, I'm afraid you should ask that question maybe to those who are responsible for these projects. But I think it will be, if I'm not mistaken, part of the OSCE ODIHR project. But I would like maybe to make an additional comment. Both as an EU citizen, very conscious of what happened in the Balkans, but at the same time as a Commission official working hard to ensure that the Balkan countries would join the EU. It seems to me there is a misunderstanding, and I take the risk of being misunderstood by some people in this room. I think there has been too high belief in the ICTY being a sort of magic instrument that will find solutions to all the crimes committed. No, just like Nuremberg was not. Nuremberg tried only the top war criminals. Many other trials happened afterwards. And therefore, the role of national courts is essential, and therefore we need to support them entirely. And the second part of what I think is a misunderstanding is also that through ICTY or even national courts, that would be enough to change the perception of a number of citizens in the countries concerned regarding what happened in the Balkans. Again, the answer is no. In Germany, even with Nuremberg and other trials, the most profound changes in the society came from the society itself, came from academics, came from NGOs. It takes time. I'm sorry. Yes, it does. In France, it was only 55 years after the war that the President of the Republic, Mr. Chirac, acknowledged publicly in Paris that the police in Paris had gone far beyond what the German police had asked to arrest in terms of numbers of Jews to be arrested 55 years after. I'm not suggesting that it should take that length of time, but I think what should not overestimate what the ICTY or even national courts can do. A lot has to come from the society itself, from the NGOs, and this is the reason why we are supporting very strongly and will continue to do so the RECOM initiative.
Yes, thank you. From UNICRI, Francesco, anything that you're doing or would be prepared to do in relation to training local journalists and media?
Let me say that I would not be honest if I say that we will ensure that the work of ICTY will continue at national level, because this is not part of our mandate. We are a research institute. However, I think it's very important, the point which was raised by the first comment. So the development of a sense of ownership across countries, that could be the contribution of UNICRI, in a sense that we will be prepared to engage experts since the very beginning of the project in the design and implementation of our projects, because it's important that our products will be tailored to country needs and also the legal framework. And in more general sense, I like to say that UNICRI has a bottom-up approach.